Welcome to Round 1, the series where we play just the beginning of a game to give you a taste of what it's like. In today's episode, sponsored by Stonemaier Games, we will be navigating the storied history of humankind to create our own unique civilization in the tabletop game of Tapestry. In Tapestry, we will start from nothing and work to develop our civilizations through 5 separate income rounds, advancing along 4 unique advancement tracks to progress our cause. Each of the 4 tracks being science, technology, exploration, and military will bring their own progressively better rewards and benefits, allowing us to improve our income, build our capital cities, earn victory points, and gain tapestry cards that will tell the story of our civilization's rise to power. You'll witness every move that we make, and after the dust settles, join us as we discuss our entire experience and find out which of us best utilize our civilization's powers to come out on top.
Welcome to the table. We have the game set up right here, and yes, you heard right, this is Tapestry, the next one from Stonemaier Games. This is actually our first 4-player game of this. We've played it at a number of different player counts, but not 4.
Well, at least all 4 of us together.
Yeah, certainly the 4 of us, for sure. So we've gone through on a lot of other content how to play the game. You've learned a lot about this game, I'm sure, from a lot of other sources. So we're not going to spend a lot of time telling you how to play, but before we get going, we will tell you this. The turns are broken down into either advancing on one of these 4 tracks, because it is a civilization game. We've got military, science, exploration, and technology. Or if you're not doing that, you're taking an income turn, which allows you to collect more resources, score some points, do a number of different things to then advance on those tracks again.
That's right. So, who's going to start the game?
I think you should start the game.
You think I should start the game? I'll start the game. I'm playing the Futurists, and these guys are super cool because I get to start on the 4th space of each of these tracks, which is the starting space of the 2nd tier.
It's kind of crazy.
It is completely crazy because I'm going to have a head start on all these different things. However, being the Futurist, I don't get to gain the bonus or the actual ability of that site or the landmarks.
Yeah, so, and you miss out on all of these sort of less expensive spots on all of the tracks.
That's right. But also, I get to start with a full set of resources right from the start of the game, which none of you guys get to do. So you'll see that right here. I have a full set. So I am ready to take my income turn. And the very first thing you have to do in the game is to take that. So I'm going to go through a 4-step process in order to do so. The very first thing that I have to do, and the only thing you can do technically in the very first part of the game, is take the bottom portion of it. And that's actually gaining your income. So to take your income, you're going to look at all 4 of the tracks at the top of your player board. And what is revealed is what you're actually going to gain in the game. And right now, I'll just go through these step by step. In the markets, I get to gain 1 resource and gain victory points for my technology card, which I don't have any at the start of the game. Here, in my houses, I get to collect 1 resource and gain victory points for my rows and columns on my capital city map, which, of course, I don't have any right now. And then I'm going to collect 2 other resources from my farms and my armories. And I'm also going to be able to collect a territory tile, which I'm going to be able to use to place in a future turn, and then 1 tapestry card. And tapestry cards are the cards that are going to actually fuel your eras, so to speak. So that's basically it for my turn.
Yeah, we're all going to do this really quick just so you get a sense of how things are going to start, and then we're going to get into our advancement turns. So Ryan, take it away and let us know who you're playing.
I am playing the Nomads. The Nomads are a little different from the other civilizations. Everyone is going to have this terrain board, and you're going to see all of these spaces here. And these spaces are meant to hold these buildings. As these buildings come off of your player board, they're going to come over here. Well, the Nomads can break that rule, and I can actually take my buildings and place them out on the map and secure territories. I'm abandoning this, but I'm getting more territories at the same time. So you kind of have to walk that line with the Nomads.
So you'd get more points for controlling territories, less points on your capital city.
I abandoned my capital city.
It doesn't sound like a wise strategy, but good luck.
So again, like Jeremy did, I'll do my income phase. Of course, you end up getting 1 of everything. And then 1 of these tiles, and these tiles come out face up, right? So everyone can see them. And a tapestry card that remains hidden.
And all these tiles, by the way, that are coming out have a resource in the center or some potential action. So Jeremy got one that gives him one of the star resources, and Ryan actually got one that's going to allow him, when he explores with that, to take one of the tech cards, which we'll get to as we play. So you're done?
I'm done.
All right, so I'm playing as the Craftsmen. working to create a wonder of the world. And what I'm going to get to do is take my houses and buildings off of my board and place them here, and I will get whatever I place them on, starting from the bottom and working my way up.
So it seems like we have a couple people who might be abandoning their capital city to some degree.
Potentially, yeah, it might be the case.
The capital city can be tricky because filling up rows and columns is not terribly easy.
No, it's not.
So you got everything, your tapestry card and your tile.
Mm-hmm.
My turn?
It is.
All right. I'm not going to hold up my card because I have tokens on it. So my outposts actually start on this. I'm the militants. The militants are all about conquering more territories out on the board. And when you conquer territory, any of us are going to put one of these outposts out on that territory. I remove them from my card, revealing either resources or points that I'm going to be able to get during my income round. So the quicker I can remove these, the more I'm going to be able to get those rewards every income round. So I will also take a tile and a tapestry card and all 4 of my resources. So now we're ready for sort of the meat and potatoes of the game.
Right, so now I'm going to go into an advancement turn. And being in the position, the unique position that I'm in, I'm going to start on the 4th spot of each of these spaces. So really, I've got a huge head start. And it's just depending upon which of these tracks I want to go up. I like the idea of going up science. It's not typically something I do, but the fact that I get to roll a die and move up another one right away is pretty intriguing. So I'm going to spend 1 resource from the science track and then 1 other resource of my choice, because that's what it says right here. And exploration doesn't look too promising for me right now, so I'm going to spend these 2, and I'm going to roll this science die moving up to that location. And I get exploration, which is free, which is exactly what I wanted to get. That's actually really good for me.
That is nice.
Boy.
And you get to take that benefit.
I do, but I've already done the math in my head, and I don't think that's something I want to do right away.
So you don't want to move up? Because you can choose not to.
No, I want to move up, but I don't want to take the bonus action of that, which is something I can do, being that it's not a crossed out die.
But the benefit itself is scoring,
I do get
unfortunately for now.
I get a victory point.
1 point.
I get a victory point.
It would normally be, it's 1 point for every territory you control, correct?
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
You know what? I think I'm going to rewind. I am going to take that benefit. I'm going to go like this and get 1 from this track. And I'm doing that for a reason which you guys will understand in a moment.
Yeah, so along these tracks,
sure
there's a number of opportunities to remove your buildings from various tracks and get them onto your capital city map, or depending on your civilization, other places. So to neglect doing so can be pretty painful later in the game.
It can.
All right, I'm ready to take my first action now. I kind of already have a strategy I've been thinking about. We're going to see if this works. I don't really care too much for the science track, but I do want to go up this military track. So I'm going to take the first step up this military track, pay 1 of any resource. So I will pay that right there and place one of my towers, outposts out on the board. So I'm just going to put it here, and then I get to roll the conquer dice. I'm conquering this territory. I can either take a food or 5 victory points. I actually think 5 victory points is a lot.
5 victory points is pretty good.
But the food gets me an extra action, so I think I really want to take that food.
Okay.
It's a really hard choice.
All right.
And that's a me.
That's a you.
That's a you.
That's a me.
All right, so I'm going to move up the military track as well, please. Thank you very much. And I'll put one of my friends out here on the board.
We have a bunch of militant people.
Conquer die.
Yep, pass those down. Yeah.
People are starting to conquer, and I'm the militants.
All right, so we have one that has a question mark on it, which means I just gain
the resource of this tile.
Which there's nothing
there is
there.
none, so you have to
score the victory points instead, which is
2 points.
Well, again, 1 for every territory you've conquered.
Kira steals the lead at 2-1.
Woo! All righty.
All right, I was considering doing that, but I think I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to spend 1 resource to go up the technology track.
Yeah, I think one thing that might not be super clear is that there's kind of a race built into these to get to these landmarks.
Yeah.
Now, Jeremy is ahead on a lot of these tracks, so he's going to have a better chance of getting these landmarks. But if David sees Kira and I racing up a track, he might want to go to a different track just to avoid us, really.
It's true.
Yeah, sometimes yes, sometimes no. Now, what I did was I took this technology card that gave me this. It's not a landmark technically, but it is effectively just like one of the landmarks. This is going to be able to get placed once I upgrade this tech card all the way to the top, which will happen throughout the game, when that happens, I'm able to place this in my capital city, covering up 6 of the spaces, which would normally take 6 of these income buildings. So I'm going to put that right there, and you'll see that upgrade in a moment.
All right, my turn. I'm going to continue going on the exploration track because that's what the game told me to do, and I'm going to follow the instincts of the game.
Wow.
Spend 1 mushroom and 1 of the gold. Go to the next one. It lets me draw a tile to place another one of these, which I will place right here. Look at this tile, see what it is. It is a mushroom. And then I can spend a resource of my choice, which I will do, to place a tile. And I will place a tile, which is a mushroom, right here. Now, anytime you place any one of these tiles, you're going to gain some victory points according to the territory that it's surrounded by. So I have ocean to ocean, ocean to ocean, and ocean to ocean, which is 3 connections, which gives me 3 victory points.
And the lead's back to Jeremy.
And the lead is back to me. Plus, when you place a tile, you immediately get whatever's on it. In this case, it is a mushroom. So I go right back up on that track, extending my turn out. And I'm feeling super good right now.
Yeah, it's one of the things you do in this game, and you'll see Jeremy do it very well, is to string out your turns by getting more resources and really milking all the rounds as much as you possibly can is really kind of the core essence of one of the main strategies for the game.
Yep.
So I'm going to move up the military track again. First thing I do is pay, so I will pay a mushroom so I can kind of even everything out over here, and I get to draw a new tapestry card. So let's see if this one is one I might enjoy. And then I get to pay a resource to put a building out, so I will do that. I'll pay this mushroom. Actually, yeah, I'll pay the mushroom to put out this red building. Now I could put it here on my board, but I'm not. I'm actually going to put it out here. And when I do this, when I put it somewhere that I already have control of, I get a free resource. That's the nomad bonus. So I will take a mushroom back.
Nice.
And that is my turn.
Also, before Kira goes, one thing we should point out that we haven't been super clear about, as you go up these tracks, it's going to cost more and more resources. So Ryan, Kira, and myself are spending just 1 of any resource in this first tier. While Jeremy started out further, he's having to spend a very specific resource plus 1, and then it's going to go a specific resource plus 2, and then finally finish off with just 2 of 1 resource.
All right. I'm going to spend a resource to move up this track here. And I'll take 2 tiles.
Get any good ones?
I got a couple of decent ones, yeah.
Those are
I
different
actually haven't
ones.
seen this one before, David.
No,
What does
yeah.
that one do?
So this tile is going to let you roll the science die when you place this, but it has a little X underneath it. And the X means that you'll be able to move up on the track that you roll, but you don't get to take the benefit or the bonus of that track.
All right.
I am going to go up on the tech again. And I will take a tapestry card. And I am definitely going to spend another resource to place a yellow house. I'm going to place this one right here.
All right.
All right.
Done?
I am done.
Can you move me up to the...
Oh,
Yep.
3 resources.
Yep. So 1, 2, 3. Spending 3 resources, I get to draw 2 tiles.
Yep.
I get to place a tile. I'm going to place this one right...
It's got to be on your stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's a great point.
And it does have to be attached to where you have buildings,
Yes.
correct?
We're keeping Jeremy honest
That's
here.
pretty. Yep.
We're going to go right here. And that's 1 connection, 2, 3 connections. So another 3 points.
Yeah, dang.
Nice.
And I'm going to get a star back. But the most important thing that happens here is I have now passed the threshold where a landmark is. It means I'm going to get this 3 by 3.
Oh,
I'm going to place it here. And I've done a full district now, which is immediately going to give me a resource of my choice. And in this case, I am still looking at the science, so I'm going to move up this to try to take advantage of that.
I told you Jeremy was
That's
the
pretty
master
good.
of doing this sort of thing. And we didn't mention, did we mention that when you fill these districts, you are able to take a free resource of your choice. So that's another way of stringing out your turn.
Well, and the reason he got 3 points on this tile, too, might be worth noting.
Yeah, it's some of these tiles have 2 different types of land types on the side of them. You just have to match at least one of those land types to score the points. So as he placed here, he's got the water and the desert, and there's water on this tile. So as long as the water matches, he's going to get that point for that side, and that's the way it works for all of those sides.
Now, the nomads kind of, if you're putting all your stuff out on the board, you're forgoing these resource bonuses. It can be a really hard
Yeah.
decision, especially seeing Jeremy come in with the big landmarks. Kind of makes you want to do the same
But
thing.
on the flip side, you placed it there and got a
I
resource
did.
anyway.
I'm going to go conquer again, or military. So I will pay 1 resource, and this is going to let me put out an outpost or a house. And I'm definitely going to put the armory out. So again, I can use this out here to conquer a new territory. However, I don't get to roll the conquer dice. It doesn't work like an actual conquer. I just gain control of the territory.
Cool.
All right. I'm also going to move up the military track, please.
Look at you guys go. I'm the militarists.
So I'm going to get one of these.
Probably going to lose.
And I can pay another resource potentially to take a building. I'm going to go ahead and forgo that this time around.
All right. All right, it is my turn. I am going to spend my last little resource to go up the tech tree again. And I could get another invention, but I'm actually going to opt to place another yellow house. I am going to place that here. And that is my turn.
All right, my turn. I'm going to spend these 2 to move up the military track. That's going to let me conquer and allow me to take a red in any order I want to do. So I'm going to place this one first here. That's also going to complete a district, which is going to give me another resource. So I'm going to go back to red. My bad. I'm going to go to science. And then I get to conquer a place, and I'm going to conquer this here. And I'm going to roll the conquer dice. Who has those?
Right there.
Hopefully this will give me a resource. It does. Ooh, but
Ooh,
it's
seven
7
points.
points.
Or the mushroom on this tile.
I've got to take the mushroom because
I knew you
my
would.
plan.
Dang,
That is rough to pass up 7 points. That's
That
about as
really
much
is.
as you can roll on that, right?
It is. But I am done.
You're finished?
I am.
I'm going to go military again because I'm right there. So I have to use my star, and I will use my last remaining resource, this bag, and I will go up on that track. So first thing I do is I get this 1 resource back, and then I get 1 point for every tile I have,
Yeah,
which
that's-
is just 1,
yeah.
unfortunately. But,
Hey, but you're on the board.
I'm on the board now, and I wanted that landmark. So
Yes, and the landmark is right here.
Yep.
It's a 4 square landmark.
yeah, now the question is, do I put it on here to get some points, or do I put it out on the board? I think I'm going to put it out on the board, actually. So I will place it on right here. And since that is my second placement, I assume landmarks count as buildings, is that correct?
Yes, I believe they
Okay.
do in this case.
Then I would get a resource, so I'll take another star.
Interesting.
Yeah, assuming landmarks count as buildings.
That is interesting. It's an interesting use of the nomads. You want to
Yeah.
get those resources.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and move up military as well, please.
All right.
That's going to allow me to...
Either conquer or place a red building.
I know it seems crazy I'm not taking advantage of this shit, but I have plans. So we're going to go here.
Here are the conquered dice.
Thank you. All right. So that
Ooh.
is 6 points or a star resource. Ooh, that's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
I'm going to take the 6 points.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's a tough call. 6 points. You're in the lead again.
Back to the lead.
All right, so it's come time. I am out of resources. So I'm going to be taking my income turn. And as you can tell, some of them have resources left. So you're going to get out of sync with each other. By the end of the game, in fact, someone might finish their game and other players might have another turn or 3 or 4 before they finish their game. So I'm going to go through the entire income phase. Starting with the top here, I'd use any of my civilization's abilities during the income phase. Mine doesn't have any, so I'd move on to playing a tapestry card. I have 2 tapestry cards here. I am going to, oh nice, play Oil Magnate right here. Now, note that when I play this, I'm the first one to do my income turn for the second round. I get this resource for free on the player mat. So I'm gonna take, yeah, a bag. And Oil Magnate says, when played, choose an advancement track. Your neighbors and you may advance once on that track. Only I gain the benefit, and I may pay to gain the bonus, if any. So, Kira, Jeremy, and myself are going to move up on technology. So Kira, I'm going to move you here, but you don't get to do it. Jeremy moves up, and then I move up, And I get to do that and get the building. So I'm going to take, is that the foundry?
Mm-hmm.
I believe so. I'm going to take the foundry and place that. And then I get to take an invention card.
Do you want to get rid of these 3?
Nope, because I'm going to take this one because it's another building.
Landmark.
Can you give me this
This
one?
guy right there, right?
All right. Now
So
he does all
that
his
was my
points.
tapestry card. Now I move on to upgrading a technology. I am going to upgrade this comm tower. And when you upgrade any of the technologies, you're going to get what's in this round circle. When you upgrade it again, you'll get what's in the square, although there are some prerequisites for that. So right now I'm going to get 5 points, and I'm finally on the board.
Yay.
And I'm one step closer to getting my comm tower built. Then I'm going to get all of the points. Now, there's not going to be a lot of points in the first round, but it's going to build over the entire game. So I look here at the markets. I get 2 points for every tech card, so I get another 4 points. I get 1 point for every row or column I have. That is a 0 for me. Those are all of the points I have, and then I'm just going to collect my resources. I get 2 more bags, 1 more gray, 1 mushroom, and 1 star, another tapestry card, and another tile. And like I said, I covered this up. Oh, I did. I took a free resource already. So my income turn is done.
All right.
All right, so my turn. I am going to go up the military. I'm going to go there. I'm going to conquer. I'm going to conquer this location. I draw a tapestry card. Carrie, can you hand me one of those, please? Thank you so much. And I'm going to roll the dice. And I'm going to take the resource,
1 star.
1 star, and use that resource to put the red down from the bonus action. And I will go right here with it. That is me.
All right. I'm going to do something pretty simple. I'm just going to go up the exploration track. So if you could, because I'm going to need some more of these tiles to play, so I'll take 2 tiles, a tapestry card, and a person, scientist guy there. So
All right.
that's me.
I'm going to do my income turn. So I'll play my tapestry card. It's dictatorship. When I play it, I will advance on any track and gain the benefit. So I will advance here. I will
Nice.
place this. I will gain a gold.
You get a victory point for 1 connection. So
Yep.
that's white.
And opponents may not advance on that track until after my next turn.
Oh, interesting.
Isn't
So that
that
was
fun?
on exploration.
Was.
All
So
right.
no one can go up on blue until Kira's next turn.
So then I get points for things. I have no technology. I have no rows and columns, so I'll just gain the benefit there. And then I'll gain my tapestry card and my tile.
And that's it.
That is it.
So now I'm into my next. We're going to play this through until we've all taken our income turns really quickly. And then after that, we're going to finish the game, and then we'll see you on the couch. But let's get through our last few turns here. My next turn, I'm going to advance. This I'm going to change things up. I'm going to advance on the conquer track. So I'm going to spend a little guy to do that, and I'm going to take it off of here. And I will place it right here. Where are those
Right here.
conquer dice? All right, 7 points or a resource. There is no resource, so it looks like 7 points for me, 16 points.
All
I'm
right.
feeling pretty far behind right now.
He'll come back.
And that
Hopefully
is,
It all comes back.
yeah, it does. There's a lot of swingy point scoring in this game for sure.
All right, I'm out of resources. I have to do an income round. First thing is I have to check my civilization. It has no special powers. I get to play a civ card. This is a trap card, which is usually used to punish opponents that are trying to encroach upon your territory. However, I'm using it as a point scoring card, so I get 10 points.
Yes, you do.
All right, and then I get to upgrade all of my wonderful tech, which I have 0 of. I'm going to score victory points for all the things that score me victory points. So 0 for my tech cards, 0 for my rows or columns. However, I have this over here that's going to score me 4.
Oh, you've uncovered that. Wow.
I've uncovered a lot. So
So
4,
4 more points.
and then for each of the places I've conquered, which is another 3.
Nice.
And then I'm going to gain 1 and 1, 2 and 2, and a tile and a tapestry card.
Nice.
All right.
That is me.
Ryan, you
I
want to
have-
take one
I'm
more
gonna take
action?
one more action, and there's a reason for this because I really want to grab a technology before I do my first.
So up on the tech?
So up on the tech tree, and I will take that bottom one, that one right there.
All right.
And I can slot this down here, and that way when I do my income, I'll get to upgrade that.
All right, I'm going to move up on the military track. So
All right.
1 star and 1 of another resource.
Yep, that gets you
A resource. And I get to score
3 points.
for those tiles.
For
right
these,
there.
okay.
Yep, so 3 points.
Mhm.
1, 2, 3. Is that it?
I believe so.
All right. My next turn. I'm going to go up on the exploration track. Just simple as that.
You can't. She blocked you.
No, until the end of her next turn.
she finished. She
Oh, she
finished her
finished?
turn. Yeah, so I'm good.
Oh.
Now I'm going to.
Oh, well, that's huge.
I totally
then.
Yeah.
forgotten about that,
Yeah.
though.
Oh, I didn't, because I would have loved to go up that exploration
So I'm going to
track.
move up there and just simply take 2 tiles.
It was intentional.
So now it's unlocked, though.
Now it is unlocked, so
Mm.
you could go on there before Ryan takes his income turn.
That's
but I'm
true.
done.
All right, you're done. All right, so I had a plan and I forgot it, so I'll make one up.
All
It
right.
does happen in this game. It doesn't usually happen to Jeremy, but it does happen in the game.
I had a plan, but I forgot it. Does this one here, David, does that allow you to take from the row or one off the top, or either or?
Whenever you're taking a tech card, you can take from one of here or blindly off the top. And then there are some spaces that let you wash the row if you want, but that is not one of them.
Okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to take, move me up 1 space there. Yep. And I'm going to score 2 points.
For your red
Yep.
buildings.
I am going to place a building.
It's a pretty lucrative space.
I'm going to go right there. And then I'm going to take the bottom card, the one that shows the mushroom on it.
Ah.
Yeah, the resources.
You have to pay a resource for that one, right?
I did. And I'm, let's see, 1, 2, no, I have to pay a resource, you're right. I am done.
All right. It's time for me to do my income phase. So play Tapestry card first. I am going to do the same thing Jeremy did, actually. Play that trap card because I didn't have to use it. So I'll get 10 points for red.
Well, I'm glad to see all these trap cards getting out of play.
And then I'm going to score my points. So my market gets me 1 point for having 1 technology. I have no rows or columns. I have nothing on my capital board.
That is true.
And I score for every conquered area I have, which is 3. So I'll get 3 more points.
1, 2, 3.
And that is my scoring. I will upgrade this technology to gain 1 star. Then I get 1 bag, 1 person, 1 mushroom, and then 2 stars.
Here's your tapestry
I get
card.
a tapestry card and a tile. And that is my income phase.
All right, so each of us have played through a round of, if you could consider it
Yeah,
a round of play,
effectively.
each of us have taken our second income phase, which is technically the true first income phase, because we've all done advancements. We're all at very, very different places within the game. So we're going to play this out, see who wins, and then join us back at the couches to get our full report of the game, and we'll be back in a moment.
All right, well, we finished building our civilizations. Jeremy quit because he was doing so poorly. No, I'm kidding. We will share the scores right off the bat here. Jeremy won. What was your score, Jeremy?
279.
And then you were next.
I was next at 218, so a fairly decent gap.
I wasn't too far behind you with 199.
Nope.
Oh, and I came in last with 121.
Yep, and in a 4-player game, I think I'm seeing a little more of a gap
Spread.
from the leader to the
Yeah.
last place for sure, because I think it's tighter in a 2-player experience and even in a 3-player experience a little bit. But it's a different game. Like I said at the very beginning, we've not played 4 players together, and the big thing is that map is significantly bigger than the other side of the board.
Well, not only the map, but the advancement tracks. Luckily, I got to start in front of everybody, but for you guys that didn't get to start, advantageously as I did, you guys were battling out for some like the secondary scraps that I was kind of leaving behind
Yeah.
with those landmarks that I wasn't getting. However, I would imagine from your perspective, it's a much different game than like a 2 or a 3-player game.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if someone has the Futurists, and we're just going to dig into some of what the battle report was here. Jeremy had the Futurists. He started on the 4th spot of each track. So there's 2 landmark spots beyond that on each track where you get one of the bigger buildings. So he has a huge lead for that. Did you get all of those?
No, there's some tracks.
Oh,
didn't
I got
go up-
one.
I didn't go up
Yeah.
the technology track.
I
at
got the
all.
one at the end of the technology
That
track.
was the only one, I think.
But then there's only one landmark on the lower level where he started that we were all fighting for.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I may have gotten maybe one of
got
those.
one
I
of
don't
them.
even think one of them.
I got one.
You got one, the Lighthouse.
That's going to happen with any game where you have the Futurists. That's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, the Futurists do have that benefit, but I mean, all of us had interesting benefits. You were playing the Nomads, so you had a ton of your income buildings and even some of your landmarks you got out on the main board.
Yeah, I think I conquered probably more spaces than anyone else did, just because when you're playing the Nomads, that's kind of your goal, is to get out there. I only had 2 buildings on my capital, and the only reason I even had those 2 buildings on my capital was because I had a Tapestry card that encouraged me by giving me points to put them on my capital. Otherwise, I would have had none.
Well, if you thought you had few buildings on your capital city, you had just the Lighthouse?
I did. I just had the Lighthouse because I couldn't do, like Ryan could take his landmarks and put them out on the board, being nomadic as he was. Unfortunately for me, the landmarks had to be in my city, and so I couldn't use them on my special track.
But
I
you
did,
maxed that out.
I did fill out my track. I think I got pretty distracted by that track, actually, and probably, since it's only my second time playing and I'm still learning the game a little bit, I found that I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go for this and learn how this works, and it was actually really cool to see how that worked out, and the benefits were awesome.
No, the benefits are great there because when you're placing an income building, usually, if you place it in your capital city and finish a district, then you're getting a resource. You're just placing it over there, and you're typically getting a resource or maybe points. Or
I got resources to begin with. I was able to get new tiles, technology cards, upgrade a technology card.
you rolled the science die.
I got to roll the
one.
science die, and then at the very end of each of those tracks was 15, 10, and 5 points. And so
That's a
I did.
beautiful thing, though, because
Yeah.
you can forego 1 or 2 of the tracks and not worry about the benefit of the income round. For instance, the one that gives you the rows and the columns for the victory points, you can just plop them down on your own civilization and get that immediate return without having to worry about, well, I'm going to squeak out 2 or 3 points during this income round and maybe another 4 or 5 in the next one. So that immediate benefit for that is really, really powerful.
It totally changed how I approached the game too. So where before I would want to try and move up the tracks more, I was actually working towards how do I get more buildings, because I wanted to fill up those individual tracks, because I was getting something from each of those, and so it just changed how I looked at the game as a whole.
Yeah, it is the benefit and the downside of a lot of these things like this in a game is, and I'm horrible about this, I see that and go, okay,
Laser
and
focus.
I get distracted by that sort of thing. Well, I wish I was laser focused, then I get distracted by something else. But typically when I get a player power like that, I feel like, okay, I've got to do this at all costs. But the trick here, I think, is taking advantage of that as much as you can and orchestrating it with all of the basic things that you really do need to do in Tapestry, for sure.
I think that's going to be the joy for most people that are experiencing it for the first time, is that they're going to see those carrots, they're going to see those civilizations, they're going to want to try different ones, and there's 16 of them in the box, so there's obviously a lot of variability in that. Not only that, but the advancement tracks, all of them provide very different rewards basically from going up those advancement tracks. One helps you explore, expand your colonization, but to score those you need to use militants. You need to use the military. So you're going to be going up each one and discovering that through the game in conjunction with that civilization that you use.
Yeah, I think for sure that this is a game about optimizing your path, and it's very easy to look at your civilization and look at a track. I said, I'm playing the Nomads, I want to go military, and I went all the way down that military track, and I felt like I had optimized what I was doing, but I was so laser focused that you stop and think, maybe the goal isn't to just race down one track. Maybe if I had gone up all of the tracks a little bit, it could have benefited my civilization a little more. So you kind of have to play a couple times with each civilization to find that balance.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's really, the more I've played, it's about orchestrating what you're doing and doing a little bit of everything. Because you could just go crazy down one track, but there are other spots on the other tracks that will make going down one track a little juicier as you do it, depending on where you are on those other tracks. So it is kind of a, like I said, like an orchestra. You're really trying to figure out where do you want everything when I do this thing to make the most of it.
I think the other appealing thing to this game for people that don't like the risks of the world, the nations of the world, those confrontational games when you're hurting other players, there is conflict in this game, but it's mostly indirect conflict. There's very few times in the game where you're going to play a Tapestry card or you're going to do something physically on the board that's going to technically mess up their entire game, right? There's times when you can, Well, there's times when you can build outposts that kind of block their path and they just go a different route. There's plenty of room on the game board to expand out in different ways. You don't have to go towards the center every time. So there's a lot of opportunity for people to kind of just turtle up and do their own thing. You don't have to go into direct conflict in the game.
No, and also, if you consider what the other players are up to, like, again, the more we've played this before the game even starts, looking around the table and saying, okay, he's got the Futurists. So he's likely going to get all the landmarks, or a lot of the landmarks. So it made me not want to consider my city map as much.
Right.
Because I like, it's going to be kind of a futile battle, because I'm not going to get a lot of those big buildings to fill in the spaces. Same thing with you. Plus, that kind of synergized in a way with the fact that you were putting your buildings over on the Craftsmen anyway. So you really did just sort of ignore the city, which I think I would have done too with the Craftsmen.
I mean, the other thing too is I want to bookend by saying it's not super indirect. There are ways for people that want to have some conflict in the game to go up particular areas on the track to maybe advance a little bit faster than other players. There are some Tapestry cards in there that can mess up players. We played one in one of our previous games where you were one space away from getting a really juicy landmark, and I was able to snake that away and just pull it directly off of the track. So you can play that way if you want. There's just not a lot of that in there, so don't worry about like super confrontation in the game.
No, it's not based around that.
And for me, one of the things you mentioned was like you going up one particular track and maybe balancing. I got very lucky that I had been balancing, and I ended up with a Tapestry card that allowed me to get 4 points for advancing to the next level, and I just happened to be at the end.
At the right spot.
Yeah, you don't get to go up the science track at that point, but I wasn't really utilizing that track very much. So in my previous play, I had gotten that, and I had that early, so I planned for it a little more, whereas this one I just totally lucked into it. And it ended up, that's 16 more, what is that, 12 more points, so.
Yeah, that is an interesting thing. The Tapestry cards themselves, which is where the game gets its name, are very situational. So there's a lot of places on the game board where you can get a Tapestry card. So you could go with the strategy of like, you know what, I'm going to get as many Tapestry cards as I can and really time these to milk the most points out of them. Is that where you're going to win the game? Maybe not. It's not where you're going to score most of your points, but it might be where you score a little bit more than the other guy, so it might make a little bit of the difference in the end if you're really tight with somebody. But some of those are so situational that you can get the right one at the right time. You got one in this game that was no good for you.
Yeah.
That
it
would have given you something if you were last on all of the tracks. It would have given you a resource and 2 points for every track you were on last place. Of course, he started in the 4th spot ahead of all of us, so it was kind of a useless card for you.
I think most of the actual conflict probably comes from the Tapestry cards. Since the exploration and the conquest in the game isn't super confrontational, the Tapestry cards are really where you can kind of snake in some weird things to be a little bit more aggressive in the game.
Yeah, the only thing you can really do directly to another player is topple one of their outposts, which you kind of have to make a gamble because you can put 2 outposts down and build a wall, and then no one can come into that space.
You can with some
of the
civilizations, not everyone.
And I did that a lot with the Nomads because I know Jeremy generally plays high conflict. Maybe I could have realized he's playing the Futurists this game, so he's not going to be. But I walled myself up so that nobody could come after me, and nobody came after me. So I probably could have used those resources and spread out a little more. But if you do that, then you kind of leave yourself vulnerable. So it's another thing, again, that you have to balance.
Yeah, they reflect that in a lot of the civilizations too. The isolationists, I don't know if you've looked at those. They have it built in to where you can actually put another token, a player token out whenever you place an outpost, effectively building that wall naturally as you conquer territories.
Cool,
yeah, lots of different options in Tapestry.
Yeah.
Very cool game, our first full 4-player game with all of us.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any questions about the game, make them in the comments below. Thanks for watching round 1, and we will catch you guys next time.
Bye-bye.